Hey everyone! So today we're going to try out the ByteDance Unified Style Optimized Framework, USO for short. It's another add-on model based on Flux, which has been super popular in the open source space for local image generation. This one builds on top of the Flux models and kind of works like an IP adapter for styles. With Flux image generation, you can use one image as a subject and then bring in a couple of other images as references to do style transfer and generate a completely new image. As you can see here, that's exactly what the USO model can do. It's able to transfer a character with consistent style using just one reference image and then place that character into different environments, different backgrounds, or even apply totally different visual styles like turning a 3D object or character into ultra-realism, anime, or even Pixar-style 3D renders. We're going to test all that out in ComfyUI. There are some research papers available showing how this model handles subject style transfer, along with side-by-side comparisons to other similar AI models and frameworks that do style transfer too. One of the cool things is, when compared to other style transfer tools, USO maintains better character consistency, using just one image and without needing a character-specific LoRA model. So you can literally take one picture of a character and drop them into totally different scenes or artistic styles. First, you can grab this AI model from the official ByteDance Research Hugging Face repo. That's the USO repo, where you'll find a Flux folder containing two safe tensors files. Now, here's the thing. Those files don't come with clear instructions on where to put them in your ComfyUI Flux setup. They don't really tell you which folder they belong in. But over in the ComfyUI Hugging Face repo, there's a USO 1.0 repackaged version that makes things way clearer. It shows you exactly where to place those two files, split into a LoRA folder and a model patch folder. The LoRA folder holds the usual Flux1 DIT LoRA safe tensor file, and the model patch folder contains the USO Flux1 projector safe tensor file. These are the same two files from the official ByteDance repo, but in the ComfyUI repo, the structure is much more straightforward. Once you download them, you'll know exactly where to put them so they can merge with your Flux1 dev model for image generation. So once you've got those files downloaded from the ComfyUI Hugging Face repo, you can get started. But before that, make sure you update your ComfyUI to the latest version. That way, you'll have access to the Browse Template feature, including the Flux USO reference image generation option. When you open the Browse Template, go to Flux and you'll see Flux 1 Dev USO reference image generation right there. Just click on it. Now keep in mind, this only works with Flux 1 Dev. It doesn't run with Flux 1 Snail by default in this workflow template. Here, I've got a slightly modified version of the template workflow from ComfyUI. I also tested it with WAN 2.2 for first and last frame video generation using two images. One is the character or subject image, and the other is a generated image from Flux that I'm using as the end frame. So in the final result, you'll have those two images passed into the first and last frames. But before we get into that, let's check out how the USO runs in the default ComfyUI Browse template. Once you load it, it'll look something like this. You'll need the Flux 1 dev model, plus the two files we talked about, the USO Flux LoRA and the model patch for the USO Flux projector. It also requires the Clip Vision model for Flux, which currently uses the patch 14.384 Clip Vision file. One cool thing about this workflow in the ComfyUI template is that it's one of the first to use subgraphs. If you look at the custom nodes, like the USO reference conditioning, and click on that icon, you'll jump into a subgraph. Inside, you'll see additional conditioning nodes pulling in data from outside the subgraph, things like condition latent data and guidance input numbers. That data flows into the conditioning workflow, and the output gets passed back out as the final conditioning result. Basically, it's a grouped set of nodes that takes input and gives you a clean output. There's another subgraph called USO Style Reference. That one handles the Clip Vision encoding and uses a new beta native node. So again, make sure your ComfyUI is up to date, or you won't have access to this beta native node needed for USO image generation. The first group in the workflow is the model loading section. You've got the checkpoint loader, or you can switch to a diffusion model loader, plus the LoRa loader, model patch, and clip vision. The second group is for the subject image reference. You load your image here and connect it to the scale image to total pixels node. This node is really helpful because it adjusts for different image dimensions. It prevents your reference image from being too large or mismatched in size, making sure the megapixels fit the input requirements. The third group is for style reference, and this one's optional. It works kind of like IP adapter, where you load one or two images and it adopts only the style of those images, not the actual content. So it applies the visual style, like lighting, color tone, composition, to your subject from the first image. For example, in my case, I've got this female demon as the subject. Then I used a futuristic robot standing in a factory as the style reference, but it's not copying the robot. It's just using the lighting, the colors, and the white background as stylistic cues. The result? A demon character with the same identity but now rendered in that futuristic 3D style. So visually, it looks totally different from the original subject image, but it's clearly the same character. Now I started thinking, how can we make this even more fun? Back in Stable Diffusion, we had IP Adapter, that classic tool for style transfer, kind of like what USO does now, and we've used it for animated video generation before. So why not use the same idea here? Generate a styled image with USO, then feed it into WAN 2.2 to create a video using those two images as first and last frames. For example, you've probably seen those trending YouTube shorts where a cartoon character transforms into a realistic version. You can do something super similar with this setup. Say I've got this female demon and I want to transform her into a 3D cyber city scene. I can use first and last frame generation to create a smooth transition. I've got some cool morphing effects going on, characters shifting styles, locations changing, all with just two images. It's perfect for those transformation videos you see everywhere, like anime to realism or realism back to cartoon. Now, you can make these locally using ComfyUI, no problem. Back to USO, when you use the default browse template in ComfyUI, the latent image comes from the VAE encode. That means it inherits the same dimensions as your subject's identity image. In my version, I switched it to an empty latent image instead. That way, I can set custom dimensions for the output while still keeping the subject consistent. This gives me more flexibility when I plug both images into a video generator. Of course, if your subject image is portrait-oriented, it's best to generate the end frame in the same aspect ratio. Otherwise, you'll run into issues trying to combine two different dimensions in one video. Here's another example. I took the same character and used an ultra-realistic image as the style reference, along with a 2D artwork. The result? The same character, but now in a 2D painted style. And of course, your text prompts still matter. You should describe the style you want, how the subject should look, whether they keep the same outfit, etc. It's a good idea to include those details in the prompt. That way, even after style transfer, you'll still get a character that matches. Like here, she's still wearing the traditional Chinese qipao, and the ink painting style background carries through too. So it's not just about style transfer, it's about keeping identity while changing aesthetics. Another way to use USO is to disable the style reference entirely. Just bypass that whole group of nodes. That way, you're only using the subject or identity image, no style influence at all. Then you can rely purely on text prompts to change the scene, pose, or action. For example, I added a prompt saying the character turns to look at the camera and smiles with a new background. So from the same reference subject, I got a different pose, different environment, all driven by text. Here's another example. Just using the subject image for identity, no style reference, and letting the text prompt control everything, background, action, mood. Like here, I generated an image of the character on an urban street, pretty standard AI stuff. Then another one where she's walking down a different street based on my prompt. In that one, I specified, she lifts one leg high, turns to look at the camera with a cheerful expression, and there's a bright blue sky above. And that's exactly what I got. Same character, different environment, just by changing the prompt. So yeah, USO is pretty fun to play around with. It's like having an IP adapter style tool, but built for Flux. We've had IP adapter versions from other teams trained for Flux but the results weren't that great when Flux 1 Dev first launched last year. And since then, there haven't been many new add-ons for subject and style transfer on Flux. But now, this feels like a solid step forward, something that actually delivers on style transfer with strong subject consistency. It shows that Flux 1 Dev still has life in it even after a year. There's still new stuff being built on top, opening up more possibilities. Anyway, check it out. That's it for this video. I'll include the workflow file so you can play around with it, test USO, try your own style transfers, or make transformation videos like these. Catch you in the next one. Have a great day. See ya.